Hey friends, it's Krista here with Outgrown, and today we're talking about big plans for 2024, big garden plans, and the big change that we're going to be making for this coming year, and the top 4 flowers that I will not be growing next year. So this is part 1 of garden planning for 2024. And so this is going to be in a few parts because it would take me forever to go over everything. So very first thing we are going over is the big change that I'm making for 2024. So after some careful thought and I don't know, not deliberating, I guess, but just, some good solid thought about it, I have made the decision to not do the vegetable subscription in 2024. I have made this decision based on a few things. Number 1, the veggies started to feel a bit like work to me this year. And of course it's going to be a little bit of work. I mean, it's a big job. But I had to be real about it. And I have a full-time job. I own a hair salon. I'm a hairstylist. I have a full-time job doing that. And that is plenty for me. So growing veggies and growing flowers is kind of a hobby to me. And this past year, I just felt, by the end of the summer, I was done with doing the veggies. And so number 1 is that it started to feel like a job to me, and I don't need any more jobs. The second reason being that I absolutely love cooking. I love canning. I like preserving. I like processing. I like all of that stuff. I absolutely love it. It's a huge part of my life. And, I love being able to, look after Mark while he's busy in the field in the summertime and all that stuff. And this past year, probably a combination of both. Like the veggies, plus I added the flower subscription onto that too. But I wasn't able to be as there for Mark as I wanted to be. And so I and I love cooking, and I love making sure that he's got like good nutritious food to eat, and like I love to do that for him, and I want to be that. Like in the summertime it's the busiest time because he's got cattle and he's got grain, and it's just a lot of work, and so I couldn't even do that. Like there was times Mark was cooking for me, and I mean he's a great cook and he likes to cook, so I'm so thankful for that. But like at his busiest time of the year, it's like I should be there for him to look after that stuff. So I did a little bit of cooking, but I was like always on the fly, and I couldn't really like learn new recipes and try new things with all the food that we were growing because it was just like just always constantly scrambling. And then like a lot of the stuff we grew just enough to have for the subscription. So I remember even like leeks. I didn't have enough leeks for us to even like enjoy at the end of the season. And when I told Mark, I was like, I'm thinking I'm not going to do the veggie subscription next year. He said, oh, so you mean like we'll actually get to eat some of our own food? And that like hit home to me. I was just like, yeah, this is why I started this, because I love cooking. I love gardening. I love that. And I love, having preserving and stuff like that and having food for us. And here there's things that we didn't even get to have because we didn't have enough of it for ourselves. So that is my second reason why I chose to not do the veggie subscription. And the final reason that I'm choosing to not do the veggie subscription next year is that in order to, we can only do 12 veggie subscriptions because my vehicle can only carry that, like hold that much to bring it back. I can only grow that much. Like there's just not enough space unless I didn't have any flowers, but that's not going to happen. So there's just like, I'd have to find another space to start having more garden. then I would need bigger equipment. I would need more manpower. I'd need bigger cooler space. I would need bigger wash area. And so we'd have to invest like, $100,000 into the farm to ramp it up to the next level. And I'm not there. Like, I have my full-time job. I'm not there. Like, I'm just not at that point, and we're not at that point for me to do that, for us to do that. So that's the other thing. Like, I'd only ever be doing 12 veggie subscriptions, and that's fine. But it's kind of like, what's the point? And not what's the point. I mean, it's all fine and dandy, but because it was starting to feel like work to me, I thought, well, this is probably the best time to kind of take a pause and not do it for 2024. And then if I miss it so much and I need to do it again, then I will revamp things and rethink it all, and then for 2025. But at this point, I'm really, really excited to plan the garden for just us and my family and friends and things like that. Like, I want to grow some things that I've never grown before. Like, I'd love to grow an artichoke. Never grown that, because you kind of have to grow things that you can grow and that you're going to have enough of to supply your subscribers. And, and having grown artichokes, I'd love to grow some melons. That would be great. What other things? Different types of tomatoes. My friend Bryce, who I got some from this year, he's all gung-ho about supplying me with more tomatoes. And I mean, I'm excited about that. I want to be able to grow some different types of tomato plants, and just like, doesn't matter if they don't perform or if they're like the most amazing thing ever, then I don't have to share them with them. No, I'm just kidding. But like, just experimenting and doing different things and like learning more in the garden. And so I'm super excited about that. Like, I'm so pumped. So we are still growing a garden, veggies and flowers, but the vegetables will be, there'll still be lots, but I hope to grow a huge, like, quite a diverse crop of stuff, because, there's things I just really want to try and I haven't been able to, and that's the fun in gardening for me. So that is the big news, you guys. We are not doing the veggie subscription for 2024. I let everybody know. People understand. I mean, they know I'm busy. I have a full-time job, and then add this on. So people totally understand. I mean, some people are, sad, but I have told people, like, if there's something that you want, that that I grow and whatever, like, just ask me. I'm sure I'll have some, So we'll see. I already had a lady, she's like, I need to put in an order for corn. So I'm like, well, I guess we're going to be growing a big patch of corn again. So all good. Like, I'm cool with that stuff. I just don't want it to have to be something where it's like, have to be scheduled and doing this. Like, I already live on such a tight schedule with my job that I just don't want to do that anymore. So yeah, I'm taking a pause. I can see it being not doing it anymore, but that's fine. And you know what? I loved doing it the years I did it. It was such an amazing thing for me. And it's not to say that in the future, maybe once I'm not doing as much hair or something, that we don't ramp things up at the farm in that like capacity a little bit more. I could see us doing that, but for right now, it's just, that's not where we're at. We're just not quite there. So you never know what the future holds, but for now, we are kiboshing the veggie subscriptions. So that, though, is going to open up some more opportunity for florals, which I'm so pumped about. I absolutely love the flowers. I love growing them. I love arranging them. I love watching people smile when they get them. I love everything about flowers. So we are going to do the subscription, and I think I've kind of sort of worked it out in my head, but this is not totally set in stone. So I think every 2 weeks I will have 20 subscribers here where I live, because I come back home to work. I'll have 20 subscriptions here. Then there's a farmer's market here on Sundays, which I'm hoping to get to once a month, once the flowers are in bloom. there's a farmer's market in Fort Capel. That's on Saturdays. I'm going to hope to get there once or twice a month. It would just mean that I would have to be done work on Fridays a little bit early, like done doing hair, so that I can get to the farm to pick flowers and arrange them in time. But like, I'm up for the challenge. It's not like it's going to be every week, even if it's just once a month. If they'll let me kind of come once a month, perfect. That would be awesome. So I'd do something like that. And then somebody was telling me that their friend was interested, and they live in a different town. And the town is, it's on the other side of Regina. It's not too far. Like, it's about an hour and a half from the farm, but it's not here. And so I thought, like, if they're interested, maybe they would have, like, they would know of 10 or so people that would be interested in getting it. And then I could do a delivery there every 2 weeks to that town. And that would kind of spread things out a bit. And that would just, like, open up some more opportunities for flowers. But nothing is set in stone for that yet. I kind of have to think about, like, what I want next year to look like. And so, like, how busy do I want to be? Kind of thing. And, if I plan all these things, then I'm not going to have a lot of opportunity to do custom orders, which I did a few of them last year and absolutely loved it. So if I can do some more custom orders this year, then that would be sweet too. So I don't want to pigeonhole myself into just doing subscriptions and farmers markets, because I want to be open to whatever comes my way. But for now, for sure, doing the 20. I'm not going to expand it at all this year. I'm going to do the 20 here, and then I will try to do some farmers markets for sure. So with that being said, you guys, I wanted to talk about the top 4 flowers that I will not be ordering seeds for. If I have seeds remaining, I will use them up. But these are my top 4 disappointments of 2023. Okay, so I'm going to start with number 1. And that is, these are all flowers, you guys. This is not in the vegetable department. That's a whole other can of worms later. We're talking flowers, because that's what we're super excited for. So, top 4 things. Number 1, Dusty Miller. Have you guys ever grown Dusty Miller for cut flower before? I'm curious about that. I saw somewhere, and yes, I think it is cool for arrangements. I had it in, like, some of my arrangements, which if I have a picture, I'll pop it up here. But yeah, so it was just not long enough. So if I had a vase, I'd have the flowers in it, and they'd be tall up to here, and then I'd just kind of stick the Dusty Miller in the bottom, so it would fill out that area, which was beautiful. But, like, definitely wouldn't go in a fresh bouquet of flowers that you were selling at the market. Like, there's just no way. So have you ever grown that as a cut flower? And if so, what is your trick to get it taller? On a Facebook flower group, cut flower group, I did see somebody say, for height, you want to plant it in the shade. Well, mine was not in the shade at all. So that could be it. So if I have a few seeds left over, I'll start them, and then I'll toss them in an area that's a little more shady and just kind of play around with it. But that's not on my list of things to order. Like, no, not Dusty Miller. So I've got that. No. My next, my number 2 thing that I'm not going to order this year is the white ammi. I was so pumped about it because I absolutely love green ammi. It is like, it's got these big, beautiful umbels. They're large and they're strong, and they have a big, thick stem, and they have this gorgeous greenery, like this fern-like greenery that comes off of this is absolutely gorgeous. And so I'm like, gosh, if the white ammi's anything like this, like, this is going to be amazing. Well, it's nothing like it. It's absolutely nothing like it. It's got these tall, skinny stems. What is it comparable to? I don't know, it's kind of flimsy. The little white, like the umbel, fine, it's great. There's like a little umbel of white flowers. Well, once they dry up, they just everywhere, so they're all over your counter. Yeah, I don't know. Like, they just didn't do it for me. So, they're kind of delicate and pretty looking, but I think I'm going to replace that with Baby's Breath. I grew that a couple years ago. It was okay, but I think I'm ready to give it another shot because it's kind of a classic, and it kind of has that market kind of feel to it, kind of wildflower vibe. It's very pretty. The key is to succession plant. That I did not do. So I will be more diligent about that, but I'm going to definitely replace the white ammi with some baby's breath and give it a whirl. But it's not that I would never grow white ammi again, but it was like quite disappointing because I love green ammi so much. So scratch that one off the list. My next one, and that's like one, it grew fine. It wasn't it wasn't like super thrilling to me. So that one I just, whatever. So my number 3, you guys, I love carnations. I absolutely love them. Love, love, love. But they just did not perform for me this year. 2 years ago, I just had a few odd plants that I got at a greenhouse, and they grew beautifully. And the more I snipped, the more they grew, and I loved them. And this year, I started them from seed. This is probably what the problem was, is that when I planted, they weren't big enough, and I didn't start them early enough. So that could have been the problem. But yeah, they were like disappointing, and they only started to bloom late September. So like, luckily we had no frost yet. I did find that they were a little bit frost tolerant. Like, we did have a light frost, and they didn't die off, but they just were really slow. So that's another one too, you guys. Like, have you guys successfully grown carnations? Yeah, like when should I start them? I'm in zone 3B. When should I start them? And is there any tips to those? Like, they just kind of were meh for me this year, and they just took up like lots of space that I could have something else amazing growing there. So I thought, well, unless I have some seeds left, I don't know if I do. If I have some seeds, I'll definitely give them a try again, and I might start them earlier. Hopefully somebody tells me when to plant them, because then I'll listen to you. And I will plant them early and then get them going. But yeah, I do love carnations. They just kind of like crapped out on me. But I find their vase life is outstanding. And they're, they kind of are, they're not like, yes, you can buy carnations at the store, and they look like a store-bought carnation. But the ones you grow in your garden, to me, they just look a little bit more like wildflower-esque. And they just, they're kind of, they're like long and very kind of delicate looking as well. But they kind of look a little bit wild. Their leaves are a little bit frilly. So I love them, but I just did not have great success at growing them. So please, if you've grown those, please, please, please give me some tips on those ones as well. Because you guys, this is only my 3rd year growing flowers. And so I just grow things I've never even grown before. Like this year coming up, I can't even wait. I'm going to try all these things that I've never grown before. But consequently, I have no idea how to grow them. And so I'm looking for your guys' feedback. So I'm not a professional at this by any stretch of the imagination yet. Maybe in a few years I can say I am, but I'm as green as it gets when it goes to cut flowers. Like, I'm very, very new at this. So all your feedback would be amazing. But anyways, you guys, to finish it off with my number 4 flower that I'm not growing this year, I am not growing them. I have no corms, and they are not going to be ordered, is anemones. They are absolutely beautiful flowers, you guys. They are so pretty. Oh my gosh, I absolutely love them. But, I shit the bed growing those and ranunculus this year. Like, they were an epic fail. Like, absolute fail. There's a few reasons. I think I started the corms too early, so they sprouted way too soon. And then I had, they were hanging out inside, and the corms started to rot, and the roots started to rot. They were too wet. I had them in these shitty pots too that I got. Oh gosh, big mistake. I was kind of like a little bit panicked that I wanted to get these things going. I had no plastic pots to start them in. So what I do? Stop at the dollar store. Bad idea. Do not buy gardening stuff like pots at the dollar store, for one. I don't know what was in them, but they had this like greasy, oily kind of residue from them. They didn't have like the holes in the bottom. They weren't all poked through, so drainage was terrible. Anyway, so I started my anemones, and my ranunculus I started in a flat tray. Those weren't so bad. But anyway, so I started them too early. They sprouted. They kind of died back. All good. I had lots of them. Thought I could at least get maybe 20 plants out of there. Nope, not at all. So the ranunculus maybe could have stood a chance. I did have a few of them growing and I was super pumped about it. But I had them planted right beside my hollyhock patch. And well, you guys, my hollyhock patch is like a hedge. It is like a fat hedge of hollyhocks. And they grew, some of them were probably like 15 feet or higher even. No, I'd say like 10 to 12 feet. I'm like thinking about myself. I'm like 5, whatever, 3 of me. No. 10 to 12 feet high. And this massive patch of hollyhocks. Well, anyways, so if you can imagine a ranunculus growing beside them, and of course hollyhocks, it's like, oh, I think I have a lot of space. Well, they just expand. So the ranunculus got taken out by the hollyhock patch. So those were some crappy things. But I at least had some ranunculus grow where the anemones, not one flower, not one single flower showed up. So my thoughts on that are, I ordered ranunculus this year. I'm going to try those again. I absolutely love the flowers. They're so pretty. I love anemones too, but I had some ranunculus grow. So I'm like, okay, well, I'll try those. And then if I have good success with them this year, then I'll add anemones next year. But I'm not adding the anemones until I've mastered growing the ranunculus, or I'm just not going to grow the ranunculus anymore. Okay, fine. But like they should like to grow where the farm is, because they like cooler weather and it's typically a little more mild, or like cooler. It's a little cooler there than it is where I'm at. Like here can be dry and hot, but where the farm ranch is, it's always a few degrees cooler. The nights always get a little cooler. And there's way more moisture. So I'm thinking like they should like it there. There's no reason I shouldn't be able to grow them. But we're going to start with the ranunculus. Kibosh the anemones. Those, I love them. But I can't invest all this money into corms. They are not cheap. Ranunculus and anemones, not cheap. I can't go and put all this money into two things and not be successful again. So I bought 300 ranunculus corms. Which I think is great. Like if I could have 300 plants, that's a lot of ranunculus. That's enough, for me, like for the first year. Great. So that is it, you guys. Those are my 4 that I am not growing again. So number 1, Dusty Miller. Stem length too short. If you have any tips and tricks on that one, please, please, please let me know. Like if you've had success growing it as a cut flower, or if there's a variety that is better than another variety, can you please drop that in the comment section? I would greatly appreciate that. Number 2, white ammi. It's not that it didn't grow. It grew pretty great, actually. Like grew like a big old bush of it. Just didn't perform the way I wanted it to. So, all good. The vase life to me, I don't think was that great. So pass on that. Carnations. I absolutely love carnations. I think they have great vase life. But for me, they weren't flowering early enough. So that's what I'm wondering is like, if I do grow them again in the future, when is the best time to plant them? Because I'm pretty sure I would have like followed the instructions on the back, like plant or start them this many weeks out. So if you have any tips, if you're in zone 3B or you're familiar with growing in zone 3B or zone 3, like should I be starting the carnations, like 16 weeks out, or not like a Lysianthus, but if you think I should be starting it like 4 weeks earlier than the package says so, or that is typical of them, let me know that too, because I don't know exactly. So anyways, if I have seeds, I'll start them and see. But yeah, so I'd love it if you got some feedback. I don't know if I have seeds left of those or not. I have my seed inventory book here. Here it is. So as you can see, my plants are going to be coming along. That'll be the next video. And then my last but not least, you guys, is the anemones. And I've said why, because they just didn't grow for me at all. I had no flowers produce, and I think I need to learn how to grow ranunculus first and then add the anemones in there. So that is gonna wrap it up for me, you guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Got some big news there out. So our big news for 2024, there's no veggie subscription. There'll still be lots of veggies growing, and we are going to be, you guys can come along with me for the journey of like growing certain new things that I'm super excited about, but that's going to come in a different video, the veggies. But this is part 1 of the flower garden planning for 2024. So we got the 4 things we're not going to be ordering out of the way. And so in our next video, we're going to be talking all about what are we going to order, why are we going to order it, how much are we going to order, and we are going to get into the nitty-gritty of the flowers. And so, yes, you're not going to want to miss out on that. And I'm going to be anticipating lots of feedback and comments in the section to help me out with the planning of the flowers for 2024. So, if you guys like the video, give me a thumbs up. If you have not subscribed to my channel, which, I should mention that too. I just hit 100 subscribers. It says I have 104 subscribers, so yay! I'm so pumped about that. Made it to 100, so that's exciting. But if you haven't subscribed, give me hit the subscribe button and follow along. And yeah, definitely give me some feedback in the comment section if you guys have any good feedback or anything, good, bad, the ugly, I don't care. Put it in there because that is so helpful to me as far as like growing and all that stuff. So anyways, you guys, that's gonna do it for me tonight. Hopefully you enjoyed the video, and we'll check you next time.